welcome geeks, nerds and people who still live at their parents' house. I'm your host, Lakin22, and today on Lakin22's Movie Chat, we are going to be doing a Christmas-themed episode. Now, let's all agree, this year has been the worst. With everything that has gone on, I just want this year to come to an end and erase it from existence. But to finally give this year probably a little sweet ending, I'm going to be doing a Christmas-themed episode with a Christmas-themed franchise. Now you're probably thinking, Christmas-themed franchise? Well, what type of franchises are there? I am glad you asked, because we are going to be ranking the classic Christmas franchise of Die Hard. This film series has been going on since 1988 and has revolutionized the action genre with being one of the greatest action film franchises ever made in cinema history, with 4 extraordinarily spectacular films and 1 steaming pile of dog shit. Now it's probably obvious which one's going to be last, which one's going to be first, but why don't we rank them anyway? You know, have a bit of fun. And before we get started, please remember to comment down below and subscribe to my channel. Please, I need more subscribers, I need a bit more attention out there. And also, if you've seen this video, if you have a different opinion on any of my rankings, just put it down in the comment below and I'll read what you put down in your ranking. And also, as I always remind my audience, this is strictly opinion based. So don't get too offended if one of your favourite films is lower than you expected in my list. It's simply from my perspective, how I view these films, how they entertain me, and how they just make Christmas the greatest moment of the year. So anyway, enough chit chat, let's get right to it. In 5th place is A Good Day to Die Hard. So yeah, probably no surprise that this film is in 5th place. I mean, where do I even begin? Implausible action sequences, horrible characterization of John McClane. Seriously, this guy was like one of the most badass protagonists of any action movie genre. And when I watch this film, they make him look like some old loser. Even his son criticizes him and calls him a loser throughout the entire movie. And that was just a big punch to the gut watching this. Also, the cinematography was terrible. The visuals weren't right great. And also, as they always say, when we want an R-rated film, we just don't want more blood, more violence. We also want interesting characters, interesting story, just the feeling that the people who made this film actually put the effort in to make it good. And you know what? They didn't with this film. They just drained all the money they could out of this franchise and killed it in the most insulting way possible. Now, we don't know definitively if this is the end of the Die Hard franchise, but with the way that it's gone, it seems like it will be for some time. Well done, 20th Century Fox. Let's just hope Disney can clean up your mess with this franchise. But anyway, enough talking about this horrible film. Let's get to the good stuff. In 4th place is Die Hard 2 Die Harder. Now, Die Hard 2 Die Harder. People are mixed on this one. Mostly because it seems like a clear rehashing of the first film. Seriously, it's the same premise, same outcome. It's note by note the first movie, just not as groundbreaking. But that doesn't mean that it's particularly a bad film. On the contrary, this film is still pretty entertaining to watch. Yes, again, the premise is being repeated. We're just in an airport now, it's not like a skyscraper, it's not as cool. And the villain, kind of forgettable, but the good stuff in this film, the action sequences are still really good. The performances still clearly have the energy of the first film. The location, while not as interesting as a skyscraper, is still pretty interesting. And also, come on, who doesn't love the Christmas setting in an action movie? It's like that little sense of wonder in it. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's just something magical about it. So, yeah, this film, a bit of a mixed bag for me, but if I had the chance to rewatch it, I definitely would. I even recommend it to some people out there. So, yeah, you know, probably not the greatest thing you're going to watch, but if you just want to watch an action movie that's neither groundbreaking nor terrible, I think this is the perfect example I can give you. But anyway, let's get to our top 3. Now, this is where it gets really good. In third place is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Again, surprisingly, with fans and critics alike, this film is surprisingly a mixed bag for people. I don't understand why. This film is incredible. They get the director of Predator, mind you, same bloke who also directed the original, and he just does whatever he wants with this film. I mean, the action sequences, again, incredible. The chemistry between Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis, who would eventually work on other projects together, like the East Trail 177 trilogy, starring in Unbreakable and Glass. Actually, that's another trilogy that we can work on soon. Yeah, sequel bait. And also, the traps and puzzles that they are supposed to solve in this film apparently was so incredibly accurate, the screenwriter got questioned by FBI agents how he managed to acquire this certain knowledge. If they manage to get attention off the FBI or CIA, I can't really remember specifically, that shows incredible screenplay writing. Also, our villain, played by the ever so entertaining Jeremy Irons, is a thrill to watch. Now, most of you are considering that there is also an alternate ending where it's not like as action-packed as the ending that we have had in the theatrical cut, but it's more of like a Godfather type style thing where it's subtle, quiet, and quite intense. I watched that alternate ending and it was surprisingly quite poetic, but being the teenager that I am, I'm obviously going to go for the action ending. I mean, come on, it's basic knowledge. Well, the problem that I have with this film, some of it's like jokes and messages on certain racism. Like, there's a joke where Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis keep saying the N-word. And it kind of goes on for a while, and while some people could find the banter a little bit entertaining, I don't know, with the way that people react to stuff nowadays, it seems like it's extremely out of taste. And really, I don't want this film getting that kind of reaction. I just want people to love it for what it is. But knowing society nowadays, that's probably what we're going to get. But anyway, this film, masterpiece of action with a sense of danger and intensity added into the mix. But also, let's get to our second film. Our runner-up is Live Free or Die Hard or Die Hard 4.0. This one is clearly the most underrated entry of this franchise, mainly because it's the only entry in this franchise that has a PG-13 rating, and if I'm being honest, it doesn't hurt the film at all. Like, literally at all. In fact, I think it actually embraced it in some aspects, not completely, but it managed to still be an all-out action flick without having to worry about the limitations of a PG-13 film. Like, we still got some blood, we still got some brilliant action sequences, got some gruesome deaths here and there. We got some good humour in there. Again, the performances by Bruce Willis, Justin Long, very entertaining. Basically, almost everything about this film is really, really spectacular. But my problem with this film, and again, it's probably just a small thing, the villain, I can't remember for the life of me, I can't remember his intentions, I can't remember what he looks like, I can't remember his name. It just seemed like a bland, forgettable hacker guy who wanted to get back at the government for some reason or another, which kind of seems like today's society nowadays. But anyway, yeah, I can't really remember the villain that much, but apart from that, this film is like almost perfect. If the original didn't exist, this film would be the top of the market. But the original does exist, and it clearly is our winner. But let's get to that anyway, because I really want to talk about this film. Coming in first place is the original Die Hard. I mean, how could it not be? I mean, this film is benchmarked in the history of the greatest action films of all time. And who couldn't agree on that? The premise, the performances, the action sequences, the cinematography, the humour, everything about this film is masterful. And also, I mean, it's a Christmas film that happens to be an action film. What is not to love about that idea? And the surprising thing is, This is probably the first time I watched an action film without having a single problem with it at all. Literally, I tried so hard to at least find one tiny nitbit of a problem to have with this film, and I couldn't find one. It is really hard for me to watch a film from start to finish without complaining about one thing. I can't even do that with a Marvel movie or a DC movie. And I love those films. I love them more than this franchise. But this is the first time I watched an action flick with no problem whatsoever in the outcome. That is an incredible feat. Die Hard is one of the greatest action films of all time and the single greatest Christmas film of all time. Okay, maybe I might be going a little bit overboard because there are some classics, but trust me, as an action movie that's set in Christmas, it is the greatest. And that is my ranking. Thank you so much for watching. I mean, this feels so great just doing this. I mean, it's a great passion talking about films, and really, I don't know a lot of people who have the same amount of passion as I do. Trust me, people I know, they still love films, but not to the degree I do. Like, the amount that I talk about, it's quite crazy. But luckily, I seem to have an audience that is the same way, so I thank you for watching. Also, again, if you want me to do a particular type of ranking, put it down in the comments down below and I will get to working on it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, please. I really need more subscribers. Trust me, I need more. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Lakin22, and this has been the Lakin22's Movie Chat. Merry Christmas.